to use the word like I'm a politician, unprecedented. Okay, this really is, because it's something that I actually haven't even heard of. These amount of people being sued on residency issues, like frivolous residency issues. But but for them to do that here in our hometown, when we have about 8,000 people that live here, everybody knows everybody, guys. You know what I mean? I have a camera outside of my home that have seen Mr. Francis pick up the barber. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't display that at court, but what I'm saying is they all know I live here, and I have been here for nearly 6 years. But they needed to. What they did is they relied on the records of the Register of Voters. The Register of Voters sent my mail for my registration to my previous address, and they had been doing so, you know what I'm saying, by their neglect. It's not my fault that they actually did that, because I changed my address. They admitted in court that in 2013 I changed my information, and the judge and my attorney asked, well, if she changed it, why did you guys still continue to send her mail to 2236 Laguna? It's like they couldn't explain it, but nevertheless, the judge agreed to grant Travis's, continuing his candidacy. We have identical issues. He went ahead and said that he was going to sign the order for me to be disqualified because of the fact that they were sending my mail outside of the city limits. It's totally ridiculous.
So Chantel, it's ironic that you said that, because I had a conversation earlier today with Mr. Price, and he's on, that me and Mr. Price talked about this, and we was trying to figure out, so Travis was allowed to run, but you were disqualified. So me and Mr. Price talked about this earlier, and what it sounds like, I'm going to do a favor for a favor. I gave you one, but I can't give you the other one, basically. And Mr. Price, you're on here, and we talked about this earlier. What do you get out of all of this, man?
Well, we're talking about the challenge to our candidates for council. There's no doubt in my mind that the reason why Reginald Francis signed that petition to challenge Trevor, and on the reason why, Charlie Brown signed the petition to challenge Trevor, and then Reginald Francis signed the petition to challenge Chantel, is because Chuck Long told them that's what they needed to do. Okay, so Chuck Long is telling these people what to do. All right, and whatever Chuck Long say do, that's what they do. So Chuck Long comes in there to make his argument. Like she said, she qualified just like Trevor did. There was no reason why she should not have been allowed to stay on the ballot, why he ruled against her. So it was a favor for a favor. Okay, and I think what happened, excuse me, Big E. What happened was that the judge realized that he had to rule in Fernandez's favor. So therefore, he needed to give Chuck Long something. So even though she had an identical situation, had more documentation to prove her residency for the last 6 years, he still come back and say he's going to disqualify her for the race.
And so for the record, for people to understand, Mr. Price, can you tell them who exactly is Chuck Long?
Chuck Long is supposed to be the hired city attorney. He has a contract with the city of Donaldsonville to represent the city on any type of legal matters.
Okay.
He's been doing that for years now. And as long as Leroy Sullivan has been the mayor, he has continued in that position. There's never, ever been any questions about changing the city attorney. It's always been Chuck Long. And I'm going to tell you something. Because Chuck Long is in that position, and because the 3 black councilmen we have and the black mayor we have, they're not going to challenge him. This guy here is a very aggressive person. I think be honest, straight up, he's a racist undercover, and he's going to make sure that the small percentage of whites that still live in Donaldsonville are well represented in their interests. And that's exactly what's going on in Donaldsonville right now. Okay.
All right. So right quick, I want to shout out everybody that's checking into the chat room. Pastor Shannon Cummer is in the building, and he said there's a purpose. Their purpose of the race is pride driven. So the purpose of the race is pride driven. It's not the seat you guys are threatening. It's the pride, their pride. So on that note, I want to bring in Ms. Leslie Fluence right quick, Leslie. And you're very versed in a lot of different areas. I'm not going to call you a politician, but you've been around politics all your life. You've been around politics. Mr. Maurice has been around politics. So, we hear these things and we see these things, right? Why is it coming from our very own people? Like, why is it coming from, if you know you've been in this position for so long and nothing has happened in so many years, why you want to continue to bring the city down? That's my question.
And I can't answer why per se, but that's one of my questions as well, because it's, and I'm going to speak for myself as well. For me, it's the city of Donaldsonville, and to see Donaldsonville return to what it used to be, because it was one of the greatest cities, and a city that can be turned around. When you look at the cities that are the country, all the things that are going on, it would take a lot. But when you have a city with people that can get together and do homecoming the way they do, that's a city that can be turned around. That's a city that can come together for a lot of different things, and it can be turned around and made into a city that can be mirrored by many others. They can make a statement here. And to see people attempting to try to do that and break it down amazes me. It has to be something behind that. I would hope it's something behind that that's causing people to feel that they, would have to do that. How do you, and I forgot the other question you asked, but I really wanted to answer that. But it's just amazing to me to see it happening. And I just think when Mr. Pastor Cummery said about pride, and I just think that sometimes people feel like when you are challenging them, they have to strike back. And it's not always about the strike back. It's about sitting back and really thinking about what, okay, so we have these young candidates. They want to come on. They want to try to make a change. They want something different. I mean, that's understandable. You don't have to attack that. You can just run your race, let them run their race, and let the people decide, just like Mr. Leo said, just let the people decide who they want as a candidate, who they want as a councilwoman or councilman. And I mean, as simple as that to me, in my mind. So I think it has a lot to do with pride. It could be a lot to do with pride. And sometimes, probably listening to, not paying attention to what to do what's right, and listening to other people. It could be that.
Right. Yeah. And, pride, that pride thing, that word irritates me. Pride. Yeah. Pride. Your pride is killing your city. Mm-hmm. Your pride is destroying your city. There is nothing that, I think last week I put something in the group to where I saw our District 58 state representative who refused to come and meet with anybody in Donaldsonville in reference to the DCCC. But I see that he put a post up on Facebook. He's always posting what he's doing. And I say this, and I'm going to say it again. A lot of the stuff that you're doing was already in the works when Troy Brown was in office, but that's for a different show. But he posted something that's going on in Gonzales, and it was called PACE, Performing Arts Center, and something else that they're building in Gonzales. Of course, Price LeBlanc made a donation. Cool, no problem. That's Price money. He put his money where he want to put it. But the fact of the matter is, they're building this building in Ascension Parish, east side, not the west side. Everything is going to the west side. So, Miss Cumry, I'm gonna call on you, Miss Cumry. Donaldsonville is, and I always say, and I'm gonna continue to say it until I see different. It's a dying community. It's a dying community. Right. The so-called leaders that are in office, they're not advocating for the city. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Because if you were, right. So what do we have to do? I know we have to do, but what do we have to do to get these people to see that what you're doing is hurting? Let's make a change. like they said, like Chantel said, like Leslie said, and Leo, let's give the people an opportunity to pick who they want to pick. Stop playing games. Stop killing our city. Stop destroying our youth's future before they're able to see it.
I think what we're doing now is the first step. It's the first step. So what the DCCC has done and other organizations in the community, we have to just continue to stick together. We have to, and I'm just going to say it, we have to change who's sitting in the seats right now. And I think we're doing a good job at doing that right now with the challenge that we're bringing, and we're getting people together and we're making our voices heard. People are listening and people wanting to get involved. I think what's happening now, what Chi and DeLacy has put together, is the first step. It's an important step, and we just have to stick together and we have to keep fighting. Right.
And big ups to DeLacy, big ups to Chi, and we're going to get on something a little later in the show in reference to Miss DeLacy. But I want to turn your attention right quick from politics a little bit, but it's still politics. And I want to get back on this education thing. What I can say, one of my man, one of the greatest educators they've had in Ascension Parish, Mr. Darryl Cumry. And we're going to talk about the things that this seat is affecting also when it comes to our youth. So, Darryl, I mean, we've been talking about this for a couple of shows now, but we know that there's an issue out there which pertains to you and your name. And everybody know you. Everybody know you good, but they still have yet to address the issue with clearing your name. And we're gonna advocate for that. That got to happen. That has to happen. But as being an educator in Ascension Parish and dealing with our elected officials, that hasn't been a good deal anyway either, because it's still affecting our youth, because there is nothing for the youth to do in the city of Donaldsonville.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say this first, Z. Man, there's an attack on young black leaders in the Donaldsonville community.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that again. There's an attack on the young black leaders in the Donaldsonville community. And the sad part about it is we can't even go to our elders, because our elders are the ones that's bringing the attacks against us. So what I'm gonna say as far as what happened to Chantel and Travis and myself and what's going on with DeLacy right now, man, they messing with the right people.
Yeah.
Like they messing with the right people, man. Like they know they're not messing with no ignorant individuals. They know they're not messing with no cowards.
Yeah.
And they know one thing, that we're gonna stand together. And I just want to let this be known, man, to anybody that's from Donaldsonville, that's looking from other states and other cities, and y'all see the people that's on the screen right now, man, we're not playing. Man, they've been handling Donaldsonville like a plantation. I'm 43, all of my years. And finally, you got a group of people to say, you know what? Man, we're going to take the plantation over. Mm-hmm. And we're going to build it back up. But when you start doing that, like that's when they send an attack to take my job. That's when they try to attack Chantel's business. That's when they try to attack DeLacy's job. And man, let me tell you something. The culture of the world right now, with everything going on with George Floyd, man, the audacity to fire a black male or female in Ascension Parish right now, look, man, we gonna stand. Nobody else gonna have to stand, but we gonna stand, and we gonna get this business cleared. If it gotta take the next 5-6 years, the business is gonna get cleared, but we're not going nowhere. So they sit in their best punches. They playing the people on us, calling the police, calling the DAs. You know, you got people that can walk in the sheriff's office and ask for a case to be closed. Man, we can't walk in the sheriff's office and demand anything. But just know this, man, we're going to stand together and we're going to fight. And they all working together, from Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office to Ascension Parish Council to Ascension Parish School Board. They hold the reins to all that money from ITEP that we're about to vote on. And when you start messing with that, man, they start messing with your job. Right. And they start messing with your name. So, man, we're going to fight, man. So it's all political, from the school board to the parish council to the sheriff's office down to little old city hall in Donaldsonville.
Yeah.
And it's sad, man, because all it's doing is just affecting a lot, man. It's crazy, but I'm with you, man. Like I say, one thing about me, man, is I'm bold. You know, I'm not one of these yes or no sir type people. If anybody knew my mama, she wasn't a yes or no sir type person. And so she won't leave this earth until I close